Few will deny that Overwatch 2's launch has been less than stellar, plagued by long queues and server stability, baffling decisions like phone number requirements that does not support prepaid phones, locking a bunch of people out of the game, a worse and unsatisfying progression, rewards, and monetization system in the form of a stingy and grindy battle pass that will also lock new heroes behind grind, overpriced and often underwhelmingly designed cosmetic items that are as good as paywalled because it would take months or years to grind out due to paltry currency rewards, regressions in terms of various aspects of visual, sound cues, HUD visibility, quality of life, aspects of map design, narrative content like hero bios, and beloved features like the removal of medals, highlight cards, and being on fire, gameplay issues like hit registration being off, Mei's ice wall was brought up, and I'll get to more gameplay issues in a bit pointed out by players, user experience glitches like problems and delays with account migration, heroes being randomly locked, watchpoint pack content and unlocked items from Overwatch 1 not showing up or transferring over successfully. The list just goes on and on. Now, Blizzard has admitted that Overwatch 2's launch could have gone better, calling it bumpy, which, if you ask me, is a bit of an understatement, but they did tweet this out to offer essentially an apology for the rough launch, rewarding players with certain items to try and make up for it while they continue to work on fixes and while they continue to update the game to be more stable and to be more in line with the state that the game should have actually been in at launch. Clicking on the tweets link will take you to the following blog post published on October 11th, 2022, where they talk about ways that they plan to make it up to players. They say here that launching Overwatch 2 as a live service comes with amazing opportunities and challenges, both anticipated and unexpected. We have largely stabilized the game overall, and we have made a lot of progress in fixing or improving issues some of you are facing. And then the team continues to work to deploy further stability updates with another patch planned for later this week, and we are monitoring the game closely for emergent issues and bugs. We have been keeping you all up to date on the forums with separate posts, but moving forward, our known issues will be tracked here. Clicking on this link will take you to the following page where they kind of update the same forum post and continue to essentially keep people informed on what they're prioritizing in terms of fixes. And then they say right here, we apologize for any issues players experienced around the game's launch. To help make up for any lost time, we're planning to run several double match XP weekends. We will confirm the specific dates for these soon. We'll also be giving all players who log in from October 25th through to the end of Season 1 an all-new Cursed Captain Reaper Legendary Skin, and a Health Pack Weapon Charm. These items will become part of your collection from the first time you log in during that time window. So as an apology, they're giving players a number of weekend opportunities to double their experience points gained to progress through the Battle Pass. They're giving away this legendary skin, the Cursed Captain Reaper Legendary Skin, that seems to have been intended to launch with some Halloween event is what this looks like. I imagine that this is a skin that was originally meant to cost $20, but they're giving this away to anyone who logs in. And then last but not least, less stellar is this weapon charm. People have just not been really digging the way weapon charms have been implemented. They just look like they've been nailed into, the character models, stapled in there with not much in the way of like visual continuity or visual blending. So it just looks kind of off and weird. And it's not like you can see this, when you're fighting players during matches anyway. So this one's probably not going to be worth much to people, but the legendary skin and the double XP weekend will probably be appreciated on some level. Though whether this and whatever fixes and updates may be forthcoming will be enough to make up for the myriad issues that the game faces remains to be seen, because there are still tons of issues surrounding the game. Players have taken to Reddit to highlight this. Here we have somebody who experienced a disconnection mid-gameplay from a competitive match at that, and the game essentially punished this player for something that wasn't their fault. After getting disconnected, they were sent into a login queue and received a 60-minute ranked suspension and a loss, and this player understandably calls this situation completely unacceptable. People are still pointing out the fact that the monetization system in Overwatch 2 is egregious, is and just how much money it cost to earn things like every cosmetic in Overwatch 1. If you happen to be someone who grinded out or paid for Overwatch 1's cosmetics and brought them over to Overwatch 2, the Reddit user here highlights that you own roughly $15,872 worth of digital goods according to Blizzard, based on the value that Blizzard has placed upon their cosmetic items. Or another way to put it would be that if Overwatch 2 is your first Overwatch experience and you want to get every Overwatch 1 cosmetic, you either have to grind for that for months or years, or you have to pay roughly $15,872 worth of real currency. The monetization system and progression pacing of Overwatch 2 is bad enough that you'll find posts like these: Overwatch 2's monetization is actively discouraging me from spending money. Basically highlighting how expensive everything is, how tedious the long grind is, and the quality of the cosmetics themselves lacking. And given how long it takes to grind through the battle pass, the fact that new heroes like Kiriko are being locked behind tier 55 of the free battle pass, which of course instead of grinding through you can pay for in order to get through the tiers, that's being seen as disgusting and almost a form of pay to win, given that Kiriko is a hero who may be a good counter pick for a hero that an opponent player might pick, especially detrimental in a hero-based game that allows you to switch heroes mid-match. The whole idea is to constantly be switching heroes around so that you can come up with new strategies during a match, or so that you can battle against opponent strategies live as the match is going. In fact, some Reddit posts are dedicated to highlighting how slow the Battle Pass grind is. I've been playing Overwatch 2 every night with friends, and I'm still only at Battle Pass level 15. The fact that Blizzard expects us to get to 55 to get new heroes without paying is absurd. And then when it comes to earning currency, not only are the currency rewards paltry, but some of the challenges to earn currency are unreasonable. The devs don't play their own game, yeah? This challenge isn't doable in 1 week, insists this Reddit user who pointed out this challenge, cleaning house, that requires you to earn 20 team kills, and this user only has 1 day left as of the publishing of this Reddit post. And speaking of challenges, people continue to criticize it for the paltry sum of coins that it hands out. I think I know how to fix the challenge reward, says this Reddit user, adding an extra 0 to every one of these coin rewards, because in the current version of the game, these numbers are 30, 20, and 10 rather than 300, 200, and 100. People are in agreement that they should be handing out 10 times the coins that they're currently handing out, so that the grind for legendary skins isn't as ridiculous as it is now. Months for a single legendary skin. Matters aren't helped by the fact that some of Overwatch 2's cosmetic item designs are sort of lazily implemented. It seems like any new feature in Overwatch 2 is half-baked, says this Reddit user, highlighting one of the weapon charms for the character Sigma, which just looks like this. They just shoved this staple, this nail, onto his hand with a charm with this origami dangling from it. That's all they did with it. Obviously, this doesn't visually meld with the character design. People on Reddit have already been highlighting a much better implementation for these charms, like these images here, where it shows a ring where the charm is dangling from, or some kind of design element that melds much better with the character design that allows for the charm to be implemented without it looking out of place. Like in this image here, where it's just a nail through the hand. Certain cosmetics like victory poses are incomplete, like how Cassidy's flashbang victory pose is missing the flashbang. Now he just fondles the air, and you can indeed see that right here, where he's just fondling nothing. And then speaking of uncompelling cosmetic designs, people are criticizing Junker Queen's legendary skins and the fact that they really don't look all that special compared to her default skin. So the fact that they're charging you $20 or months of grind for this is kind of ridiculous. On a grander scale, entire cosmetic item categories are being classified as kind of useless, like souvenirs here. Anyone else feel like souvenirs are pointless? Why would I swap an emote out to show this off? Souvenirs being items that your character will hold up instead of doing an emote. It's just something that people are not appealed by. Same thing with weapon charms, which not only have they been poorly implemented, like with Sigma's hand here, but also, again, you can't really see that during gameplay, so these feel like filler content rather than something that's truly desirable. Which is why there's some Reddit posts dedicated to highlighting this. Nameplates, weapon charms, and souvenirs are not rewards. They're useless fluff nobody cares for and a blight on gaming. The kinds of rewards that Overwatch 2's Battle Pass gives out is also being heavily criticized. Right here, this Reddit user pointed out, the fact that the Cyberpunk-themed Battle Pass is missing most of the Cyberpunk-themed skins is honestly hilarious. Cash shop anyone? They clearly have the ability to make a decent Battle Pass, but decided to give us the middle finger instead, because giving players the middle finger is more monetizable and more profitable. Beyond cosmetic rewards being unsatisfying, people continue to highlight the fact that the removal of certain features makes playing the game less satisfying and less rewarding feeling, like the removal of being on fire when you're doing really well during a match, the removal of player portrait borders that highlight your level of prestige, and then some. I mean, you've got a recent Reddit post here with over 15,000 upvotes highlighting how Overwatch 2 has no medals to see if you're playing well, no on fire, no leveling, no loot boxes, no end cards, no player borders, all of which result in a game that is less rewarding than the first game, which makes the 2 in Overwatch 2 that much harder to justify. Players are also pointing out how more maps have been removed for Overwatch 2 than added, with this Reddit user asking, why are a bunch of non-2CP maps missing? Now, it's worth noting that some of these maps are accessible through custom games, but there are certain maps that have been completely removed, like Blizzard World, Rialto, Havana, and Numbani. Right here, Reddit user sort of visually compiled the removed content versus the new content, how these maps are still in custom games but are not in quick play and ranked. Some of these maps have been completely removed. The character or player portrait borders and being on fire and all these things, all this stuff has been removed. And then on the other side of the fence, there is new content in Overwatch 2, but it doesn't feel like overall Overwatch 2 has gained a whole lot from Overwatch 1. It feels like some stuff was lost, some stuff was gained, and the culmination is a game that doesn't feel like a major sequel or a major next step. And you can tell how many people miss some of these maps with this post highlighting that Numbani isn't just out of rotation, it's not even in the game, already garnering over 11,000 upvotes in just 3 days. Hanamura is also a map that plenty of people are missing in quick play and competitive, but aren't able to access it anymore except via through custom games. And then that brings us to some prominent gameplay issues that people have been having, like how some folks are losing their heroes and all of their progress that they had just a day ago. I was playing last night and I had all my stuff, but now I can't play any heroes. I played Overwatch 1 and I merged my account. I'm not really sure what to do right now. Some people are saying that it might have to do with a bug that is related to Blizzard taking out Bastion and Torbjorn temporarily. This was detailed in this tweet from back in October 10th when they said that Bastion and Torbjorn will be taking a quick trip to the workshop while we iron out a few bugs in their ability kits. With Bastion in particular, they're talking about this major bug with Bastion's ultimate where you can shoot until the time goes out, and that looks something like this. You can just set a bunch of airstrikes, essentially. This is not supposed to happen during Bastion's ult, and so they had to retire the character temporarily to fix this thing that, yeah, breaks the game balance. And Torbjorn also seemingly had some kind of bug with his abilities that essentially made him far more powerful than he should be. But the bugs and issues don't end there. So right here we have a video highlighting how off some of these hitboxes are. Like with Hanzo here, when going for a headshot, you don't even really have to hit the head dead on. You can kind of aim a little to the side and it'll still land, and obviously that shouldn't be happening. This is obviously very strange and very unusual. In a previous Overwatch 2 video, I highlighted this Mei footage showing how using her ice wall as a platform is impossible because of this strange and bugged out behavior where you kind of rubber band on the ice wall instead of, you know, being able to properly use it to navigate some of the higher platforms and maps and the like. Turns out that's an aspect of Mei that's more broken than people thought. Mei bug is a little weirder than I thought it was, says this Reddit user, pointing out how you can do things like this when using Mei's ice wall, where you don't have to actually aim at the character in order to... You can see right here, Mei shoots way up here, but somehow that landed as a headshot for the enemy down here. Characters like Doomfist are being criticized for being too weak in Overwatch 2, for being nerfed too much, to the point where you'll see some Reddit users post stuff like this. Doomfist now has higher DPS with his left fist than his right, and that's kind of shown here with how his chonky right fist takes longer to beat up one of these training bots than Milling with his left fist. You can see right here, which is kind of funny, but also highlights that, yeah, Doomfist needs to be better balanced. Certain characters like Kiriko are much harder to hit in the head because her comically large hands block her head hitbox, so you can see that the character is accurately shooting at her head, but it doesn't register as a headshot because it's shooting her hand instead. Some people have been experiencing visual issues where their screen gets blurry, so somebody posted this joke: "You guys, I think I unlocked the new Winston without glasses skin." Playing the video, you can see for yourself that Winston here is literally nearsighted, where everything in the distance is blurry, but the closer he gets to an object, it actually, clears up. So this is a strange issue. That's an accurate representation of not wearing glasses, but obviously, when playing the game, it's a problem. D.Va's defense matrix has been reported to have an issue where it'll eat friendly Junker Queen knives. That means that if you're playing as Junker Queen, you may find that some of your attacks are not hitting the opponent if a player who's playing D.Va activates the defense matrix in front of you. Obviously, that is a disruption for gameplay. Moving past bugs for specific heroes, some players have been experiencing things like this, where when you start a match, you'll spawn and just immediately fall off the floor alongside your entire team like this. The sound is pretty hilarious. So that's what happens from time to time. Blessing here said, okay, what is going on in Overwatch 2? This is the second match in a row where there's been a spawn point bug. Some players are experiencing bugs in the form of being unable to purchase a cosmetic that they have the currency for. The price is there, but I can't buy 2,200 currency, 1,900 in cost, but isn't able to purchase the item. For some reason, the game is treating it like the dude doesn't have enough currency to buy the item. Moving past bugs and things that are not working as intended, some people are highlighting just poor balancing for certain heroes like Orisa here, who many believe needs to be nerfed. Zarya here, people are joking about because it takes forever to kill her during matches. Many feel like she's kind of broken in that sense. And then to close things off, some folks are complaining about little quality of life things like the fact that they removed options from the main menu. Instead, you have to take additional steps in order to access the options menu, which is like a small thing, but I don't know, it just seems like a silly thing to change. But yeah, amidst Blizzard's apology where they gave out some free rewards to players, these are the topics that continue to crop up. These are the issues that are continuously highlighted. The game is still far from being in the clear when it comes to finally being or feeling fully stable. Blizzard still has much to do, and I guess only time will tell how long it'll take for them to bring the game into a more stable feeling state, and whether this game can continue to thrive in the long term, especially with this rough launch that has negatively impacted the optics surrounding Overwatch 2, a game whose optics were already sort of on the negative side because people really didn't feel like the 2 in Overwatch 2 was justified. People don't really feel like this is a full-fledged sequel. Overwatch 2 feels more like an expansion or an upgrade to Overwatch 1, and Overwatch 1 Chapter 2 rather than a full-fledged Overwatch 2. And for the sequel, which should be better than Overwatch 1, to launch in such a state, to feel like a regression in so many areas, it's just not generating a positive image surrounding a series that once upon a time had overwhelmingly positive sentiment surrounding it. But again, time will tell how all of this will play out. In the meantime, though, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are about the woes surrounding Overwatch 2 right now. Have you been playing the game? Have you been having fun with it? Or have you been experiencing enough issues that the game is feeling kind of untenable for you right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.